Ooh, I almost lagged off. That would have been bad.
Yeah, be careful that edge with the little pop lag that we're getting. I almost ate it over there too. Almost bought the farm.
You see that building over there too?
Like this is you control this entire valley. All right, hang on a sec.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all good
Mm-hmm.
here, isn't it? Oh, there's all kinds of great loot. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna start going into it by accident. Okay, hang
Yeah.
on. Yeah. All right. I'm ready if you are.
Yep.
Okay. So, Razor and we've been playing survival games for a long time, especially DayZ for back on the PC, but we've been playing it a long time on the console, right? And this pertains to pretty much everybody, right? We're currently dealing with DayZ 104, dealing with, because we, we need those patches. We're dealing with DayZ 104, and that's the same version for PlayStation and the Xbox. But we've been talking a lot about base locations, and I know a lot of people now that bases are definitely a lot more, they make a lot more sense. People are starting to do them when once they were not. So we've really been going through a lot of different locations and talking about base locations, and this is one of them. And I'm going to say, if you're looking at my map, this is in D8. And if you're using a searchable third-party application, this place is, let me make sure I get the name right, is Mamino, Mamino, and it's to the right of the hospital, and you'll see an Olga spawn by one of these if that's what you're looking at. So hopefully that helps. Or if you don't have any of those, if you spawn at the shipwreck and you go inland to the west, or you spawn in Civet and follow the road, you can also get to this location if that makes sense for anybody that's doing it the old-fashioned way. So go ahead, Razor.
Hell yeah. All right. So he already told you where we're at. So we've basically pulled up on this on a gunter, took the road up, and we it's two apartment complexes, one next to another. So obviously, just by being on the roof, you could already tell from a tactical standpoint why it's good. Obviously, it's the highest point in town in an apartment complex, so you got many rooms for storage. And let's face it, the car spawns here basically, so you can have a car on it down low at your base. Now, the cool thing about this location is let me actually go downstairs because obviously we know being in high ground in DayZ is the best ground to be on. But because I've done many base locations, at least on my channel, I know Jade's done quite a few as well. And coming from a military vet, I can just tell you right now, a location like this is definitely what you want. So when you pull up to it, it doesn't look like much. It looks like two uh, complexes, one next to another. But when I'm looking at them, okay, it's the highest spot in town, and basically your car spawns somewhere around here. Okay. Now what you could do with this is you can lock down the middle, store your cars there, build up some walls, some towers, have a, Overwatch on them. Then you could start building higher on the tippity top here on both complexes, right? So essentially you're going to be locking down the area, right? You can see into both sides of the valley. You have a lot of versatility when it comes to uh, base modification. You can build on the ground. You can build above. You have a lot of different options when you're building in some location like this. Now, the good thing is too is obviously since you're in a town, you're gonna have a local watering hole, food. Jade was mentioning the hospital that it's by, so you got medical supplies. So if you can get a car here and get to this location, it'd be a great location for, I would say, you know, 4 people plus. That way you can maintain the base and kind of have people online to, you know, do Overwatch when it comes to official servers like that. When you have complexes like this, obviously you have different levels, different floors that with different doors, right? So bring a lockpick, start locking up the complexes, use each room for different type of loot storage. That way you can categorize and organize your base uh, really well. Or what you could do is just not even store the loot on any floors. You could put tents on top with some towers and keep all your loot up top. Now, if you're anything like me and Jade, um, we don't like keeping all our loot in the same place. So basically what I would do is lock this place down, kind of have a perimeter in the middle, and lock the tops down. And I would be storing loot on different floors, and maybe even alternate accounts, like alternate guys on each floor. That way, if you get attacked, say you get clipped off the top, you can just take this next guy on the second floor and move him up. It's very strategic when you think about PvP. Um, that's why I like big buildings like this, builds like this, because obviously it's just, you know, it speaks for itself. It's leaps and bounds over different types of bases. And let's face it, you have prefabricated walls around you too, so you can really start to tailor your base to how you want to play. Anything on that, Jade? And if you see him, he's just running around kind of getting a scoping it out. But I don't know, locations like this really speak for themselves, and
Oh, geez, I
when you're
was
playing
muted.
DayZ and you start getting to end game where you're just getting loot, you're getting cars, you're getting a squad together. Obviously, you know, other good things about this base is there's a military location around here, so you have your hospital, you got your military location where you can get your guns, ammo, and whatnot, and it's really, really, really good when it comes to having resources accessible for your entire squad.
Razor?
Yeah,
Okay, so I was muted and I didn't know it.
it's
So
okay.
to piggyback off what you were saying just now, I was like, oh, I did do a base build in between here. It's a starter base. I want to say it's for 2 or more. I think it's realistically for
Mm.
like 3 or more, but you could even solo it if you've got the testicular fortitude. But I do have a
Mm.
video on locking this off here for the vehicles and stuff. I'll link that here when this becomes a video later, and hopefully you link it too, Razor, and that'll give us a good start, and you'll see more videos on this in the future. But yes, this location is great because, I mean, all the reasons you said for sure, but if you step in here, you can do it on the cheap. If you step inside, if you're placing a fence kit, you can rotate it on consoles by hitting up on the D-pad. That works for PlayStation and Xbox. So you can take a fence kit and rope things off inside pretty easily. And it can also make your fence placement or your tower placement much better. And if you actually come up here real quick, check this out. This is something we did initially. I don't think we had a chance to record it, or we were streaming at the time, but we definitely did a build before the big old wipe. Well, we had access to a lot more loot back then,
Oh
didn't we?
yeah.
But if you're up
Mm-hmm.
here and kind of talking about stages, I mean everything Razor's talking about like tactically. And if we start off with a base downstairs, it's on the cheap, right? Now I got to be careful not to wreck my character here. And again, that I can't remember what the video's called, but there's a base build in between here, and I think it's called 200 IQ base build. And that's the starter here, and then you can start to expand up on these towers. You take over this tower, and you help fortify that position. You can take a car tent and place it over this. So when you come up, if you look, you're extremely vulnerable when you come up the ladder, right? Like you have the animation, so you're stuck. So if someone's camping you, bing, there goes your face. But if you have a car tent up here, what are they gonna see? Nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want
Nothing. They won't see anything.
if you want to stop people from coming up, take a wire mesh barrier and place it on top.
And yeah, and here's another dirty move if you really want to get dirty with it. And I just thought about this. If you were to take a wall, right, and the back side is like here, and then the front side is right where the ladder is, you could probably attach barbed wire on there, so when people come up, they're instantly starting to bleed.
Yes, dude, that's
So,
so
so
dirty.
So if you really wanted to get dirty about guarding your base, or you want to make people get instantly taking damage coming up, you would place your wall here in front of this ladder, just far enough away to where when they finish, and I'll do an example. So when you're coming up like this and you're doing this animation, you can't do anything. So when they get here, they instantly start taking damage. So that's another dirty way. That way, you're already hurting them. You know they're coming up. Perfect. Because they're hurting, they're bleeding. They're going to freak out. You're going to shoot them. And then, boom, there you go. You did your looting for the day. You get it, you bring it back up, store it in the tents, and you're good to go. You know, like, it's a very thing when you start to take damage and you can't defend yourself in DayZ. Because, let's face it, 9 times out of 10 when you're PvPing, especially in a location like this, from a tactical standpoint, if I were to raid this, and somebody said this in chat earlier, or in Jade's chat, sorry, it would be hard to raid. I mean, look at it. This is an open field, dude. All the way around.
Yeah.
There's not many places that you're going to be able to siege this base from without the people up top seeing. And when you build higher, you get a bigger field of view when you build higher. So let's face it, you take over both tops, yeah, you separate the squad effectively, and you put a certain amount of people on one building, certain amount of people on the other, and you just start picking people off. It's a very, very versatile location. And I do, like I said, I make a lot of like base locations videos, and I've been kind of doing it in Cherno, but this town specifically and this location is probably the best base location in this area. Just got so much versatility, and I can't even stress that enough. And just like I don't know, and you got a good view, you know.
Okay, so to throw in on top of that, to pile on, if you're talking about, I like, and you're right, this is the high ground, and there's a bunch of clear area around us, so we command this position, right? Because we can see anybody creeping up. But check it out. You know this line here, if you're looking away from the sun, right, in the, would that be the east? Look at the main road as it cuts through town. This is the main town that goes to Northwest Airfield and Tizzy and everywhere else. You command it. If you put a couple fence kits in the road, like, and you have a guy up here, you'll see them a mile away, and then you can start to take shots. If your sniper's good enough, you might even get a car out of it if you can dome the driver.
And not only that, to definitely piggyback off what he's saying. In the military, what we like to do is we like to stagger obstacles in an open field, right? To kind of create a very hard roadblock, right? So you zigzag, you know, metal structures or barriers, if you will, in an open area. If you were to basically, and knowing exactly how the car mechanics work in this game, zigzag a bunch of obstacles in the main road here that goes to the town to Tizzy Airfield and whatnot, you're going to force somebody in a car to come in to the field. And what happens when we go into fields? Well, cars don't move across land that well. Like, open road, yes, but when it comes to like open fields, rugged terrain, they're they're absolutely just bad to traverse that type of terrain. So force them off the road, you know. Either way they go, they're gonna have to deal with it, and then go from there. Start picking them off, taking them out, see if you can get the driver, and if you got anybody like 27 on your team, that person's gonna get sniped out of their Nikes. So, you know, just kind of look at this location, take it all in, know what you're dealing with, and from a tactical standpoint, always think about you rating your own base when you're building it. I like to kind of cover everything when I'm building a base, although, you know, I haven't threw up a base in our private server yet. Um, Whenever I build a base, and I know Jade's the same way, we try to think of every single thing we could do to it to stop people from getting the loot we spend hours
Oh
gathering,
yeah. Real
right?
quick, before the sun goes
So,
down, zoom in, look at the road where I have the light pointing. I just want to get this before the light goes down.
mm,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but just
mm,
to piggyback off of again what you're saying, if you take this road all the way back, that takes you to Troitsk,
mm,
which is another big military
mm.
base. And so you have access to military loot as you go up the hill. So I just want to make sure we got a visual on it before the sun went down because it's like accelerated nighttime right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's basically that road past those like houses. I don't know how well we can see that now. Do you have like a glow stick we can throw over there?
No, unfortunately.
I don't. I might. Sorry, I didn't mean to like break your train of thought.
Oh no, I was done. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, hopefully we got it. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to catch it before it got dark. We can reposition
Yeah.
now
No, we did.
to another spot.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just take us a hot minute to get there, but ooh, that's hot. Doesn't it get
Yeah,
you
and
excited to
again,
build here?
mm-hmm. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you drop those subs, follows, and likes. If you're watching the stream, if you're watching this in video form, do the same for myself, which is RazorTube, and Jade Monkey. You can
That's
find
me.
his link in the description below of this YouTube video.
Yeah, and drop a like on the video. It helps. It helps a lot. And RazorTube and myself, Jade Monkey, we stream all kinds of open world survival games. We also post daily DayZ content. Razor posts his in a DayZ playlist. I think it's called DayZ or DayZ Guides.
Mm-hmm.
And mine
Mhm.
is called the DayZ
Mhm.
Highlights playlist. And on my video, you can check the description below. And if you give me your link to yours, Razor, I'll be sure to put yours in my description as well. What's up?
Okay.
Yeah.
And see, let me do this real quick because I want to make sure that I